Hi everybody, welcome to Bible study. So this is February, the month of love, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, I think it was. We are going to dig into this. This is a month where everybody's talking about all the mushy stuff, all the candy, the roses, and all that stuff, the fun stuff. But there's more to it than all that. A lot more to it. And we're going to dig into this just a little bit. I am going to talk about some of this stuff, and I think in the way I'm going to present it is for everyone. I know for me, I am digging into this. I was single. Little background on me, I did not get married until I was 26, I think it was. And so I had a long youth. I had a lot of fun. It was some of the most interesting and fun days of my life. I got to do a lot of experience, a lot of opportunities came my way, and I lived a full, thriving, young adult life. And then I got married, I had 2 children, and things, how do I say it, went really rough, and I ended up divorcing. And I once again was on my own for about 8 years, and once again I was thriving as a single person. Yes, single parenting is not for the faint of heart, but in the middle of it, God was there and I was thriving. And then out of the blue, God sent an amazing godly man, and I'm not single anymore. And I just want to share a little bit of what I have learned over the years of courtship and marriage and this love thing. So we're going to start, and like I said, just because I'm the courtship story is what I'm going to title the next 3 sessions. These are tips and tricks that if you are married, you're going to want. So if you're single, you're going to want to remember this, okay? If you're young, store this away. This is some really, really good tips that's going to give you what you want, okay? The mushy stuff doesn't last. That's just a bonus point tip there for you. We're going to look at some deep foundation things, so stick with me. Even if you're married, even if you're grandma, you maybe can pass it on to your grandchildren, but I think all marriages and anyone that's looking for marriage can benefit from what we're going to discuss today in the courtship story. So, our key verse, okay, the verse we're going to look at every single time, so go ahead and put a bookmark in your Bible so you can flip to it every morning when we have devotions. Psalms 127 verse 1. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. And that is going to be our key foundation text. If God is not part of your courtship, if God is not part of your marriage, it will not last. I could just stop right there and you guys could have tons and tons of things to research right there. But I'm going to just talk about this for a little bit. You must begin with God, okay? It all begins with you and God. A healthy marriage, a healthy courtship begins with you and God. It does not begin with your boyfriend or your husband. It begins with God. God only. If you do not have a close relationship with God, your marriage will not be close either. Because God, your relationship with God is the foundation of all your relationships. Okay? God must be your guide, especially in courtship. Okay? In marriage too, but especially in courtship. If you do not have God talking to you, that you can't hear from God and you can't talk to God, and you're not in a relationship, a conversational relationship with God, how are you going to know which man, which boy is for you? You're not. You're going to have to pick and choose yourself, and you're not very smart. I hate to tell you, because I'm not either. With something as astronomical as picking a life partner, you better have astronomical advice. And that is why you must have a deep relationship with God first. You must be open to hearing His voice and willing to listen to him for this to even work, okay? The strength of your relationship with God will determine the strength of your marriage. It just is. It just is. You cannot have a deep, intimate, beautiful marriage without God. There's people that can fake it for a while. There's people that puts a lot of effort and energy in it, but they never know the depth and the beauty of having a relationship with a partner where both of you have a deep relationship with God first, okay? Pray. Talk to God. Talk to God. Read his letters to you, also known as the Bible. Read them. Find out things, okay? Have godly friends. Have people around you that encourage you and strengthen you, okay? You can tell, I can tell, you can too, the depths of somebody's relationship with God by how and when and how much they brag on him. If people are constantly bragging on how great God is to them and how blessed they are and what an amazing God they are, they have a really good relationship with him, okay? So, number one, you have to have a relationship with God, and then you got to prepare yourself, okay? Your marriage is only as good as you and God, okay? It is only as good as you and God. Be confident in who you are, okay? Being codependent is just going to bring you a lot of heartaches and pain right off the bat. You're probably not even going to get through the honeymoon without getting your feelings hurt if you are dependent on somebody else for making your life better. If you're getting married for what they can do for you, you're in trouble. Because if you are not prepared to pour into the marriage and to give it your best, you're going to be very disappointed very fast. It's not going to work, okay? You must be complete on your own, okay? Marriage is two people joining their lives together, not their minds, not their personalities. Lives. They're walking in sync. And if you cannot keep up, and let's just say you're going down a path, you're going on a hike together with a partner. If you are weak and tired and unhealthy, you're not going to be able to keep up with that partner, and you guys are going to have a hard time. They're going to be held back from seeing the view that you're after at the end of the hike. They're going to be held back because of you not being who you should be and up to par. Same way it is in a marriage. If you are not who you should be, you're going to be holding your partner back. And we're going to talk about it later. It can be vice versa too. But right now we're talking about you and I. Okay? Be confident. Be complete on our own. Believe what God says about you. If you're constantly looking to somebody else to validate you, to tell you your worth, you're not going to make it. Okay? You're not going to make it. Know your own worth. Know who God says about you. Know your own beauty, okay? You don't need to be told you're beautiful every 2 seconds. You know you're beautiful because God says you are. You know that you're smart and you're talented and you're wise because God says you are, okay? If you're always looking for somebody else to validate you, you're going to have trouble. So be confident in your own self by believing what God says about you. Okay? Can you encourage yourself when you get in a hard position in life? Are you always needing somebody else to boost you up and somebody else to give you courage and somebody else to get you out of your depression? Okay? It's not going to work. You're going to have a hard time. Learn to do that yourself. That's you and God's business, not somebody else's. Okay? Quit looking for other people's approval. Have confidence in yourself. And when you have confidence in yourself, your marriage is going to be astronomically way better in so many areas. Believe me, I know. Okay? Not just the mundane areas, but the fun areas in life too. Okay? Those fun areas, the adult areas, is going to completely change when you have confidence in yourself and you're not looking to your partner for validation all the time. Have good habits. Number one, I tell my children this over and over. If the spouse is not, or the one you're looking to date, is not a hard worker, you don't want them. Why? Because marriage is hard. Relationships is hard. Life is hard. And if they are not willing to do hard things, then you're going to be left doing the hard things by yourself, and you will get resentful and hate that person. Okay? If they are not a hard worker in their everyday life, you do not want them. Okay? And yourself. If you're not a hard worker, then you will not be a good spouse. If you are not okay with plowing through hard times, with staying on top of things, then you're not going to be a good person to have a relationship with. You must be willing to do hard things on a consistent basis. Money savvy. Are you disciplined? Do you save your money? Okay? If not, you are not going to be a very good partner. You're not going to bring much to the table. You're going to have a hard time in life, okay? Trustworthy. Do you do what you say you're going to do? Okay? Does the person that you're interested in do what they say they're going to do to themselves? If I say, I am getting up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning and I'm going to have a profitable day, do you do it? That's part of being trustworthy too. When you can keep your own word to yourself. That's what builds confidence right there. When you can keep your own word. When you know you're trustworthy to yourself. Okay? That's huge. Before you start a relationship with anybody else, you make sure you are trustworthy. The next one is being unselfish. Let me tell you, a relationship, you better be pretty unselfish. You better be ready to be unselfish over and over and over and over and over and over, because you will be serving the other person. That is what marriage is about, okay? It's 100% serving each other. And sometimes we fail. Sometimes they fail. But are you willing to do your job and give the marriage 100% no matter what they do? You got to be committed to that. Communication. Are you able to communicate clearly and effectively? If you cannot do that with your mom and dad and your brothers and sisters and your coworkers, then you better go learn how, because you're going to get in trouble. Okay? So, prepare yourself. Before you get into a relationship, if you're in a relationship already, go back to the basics and work on yourself. Number one, you and God. Work on having a deep relationship with you and God. And then work on yourself, okay? Work on your confidence. Work on being trustworthy. Work on being a hard worker. Being unselfish, okay? These are the things that are the base of all that romantic mushy love that you see out there. Are the hearts and the roses and the candy and the chocolates. This is what makes those things worthwhile. Okay? If we do not have this base in our life, we don't have God, and we don't have confidence and prepare ourselves and are working to make ourselves a better person, nothing else is going to work. Okay? You've got to have a solid foundation yourself before you can go and have a relationship with somebody else and try to build a relationship together. Because if I try putting my house, my life together with somebody else, and my foundation isn't straight and it's shaky, what kind of relationship are we going to have? Even if the other person's foundation is solid, if mine is shaky, the whole house is shaky. And when mine goes down, it's going to pull the good foundation down too. So instead of looking to see what can they provide for me and why would they be good for me, ask yourselves, why would I be good for that person? What do I bring to the table? Why would they want me to be along for something as important as a life journey? And if you're in a marriage, think about that. What are you bringing to the table? Okay, you complain about your spouse or this or that. What are you doing? What are you bringing to the table? When we're married, it kind of doesn't matter anymore what they bring to the table. We are responsible for us. If we don't do our part, then why are we expecting them to do their parts? Okay? A foundation of God and a foundation of personal growth is a must if you are going to have a godly, mature relationship that'll last. Okay? So if you see any of these areas you need to work on, then go do them. Go sit down and meditate, God, how can I have personal growth in my life so that I can bring good things to our relationship, whether it's in a courtship or whether it's in a marriage. Go be great for God.